Hong Kong will become another Tiananmen Square if China's army comes, a protest leader warns.
Here's a summary of the article.
Protests by residents of Hong Kong demanding expanded democratic reforms have entered their third month and drawn the ire of the Chinese government, which has issued threats of violence. Demonstrators aren't ready to back down even if the Chinese military gets involved, one protest leader told Insider. Bonnie Leung, the vice-convener of the Civil Human Rights Front, told Insider that she believes the Chinese People's Liberation Army is merely posturing to scare protesters by moving troops into Shenzhen, on the border with Hong Kong. If Beijing is serious about moving troops into Hong Kong to quash the pro-democracy protests, I think you will see quite a lot of tankmen, Leung said, referring to the unknown man who blocked a line of tanks during pro-democracy protests at Tiananmen Square in 1989. As the Hong Kong protests have persisted, they have gotten larger, and Hong Kong police tactics have gotten more extreme. Protesters say a woman's eye was severely injured after police shot a bean bag at her face, and Hong Kong police have admitted to dressing up as protesters, Vice reported. Beijing has also released a number of increasingly hostile statements regarding the Hong Kong protests, with official state media claiming that the protests are part of a CIA plot, NPR reports, and claiming signs of terrorism in the protests, according to the South China Morning Post. Although Leung is skeptical of the PLA's threats, she noted that if the military does come to quash the Hong Kong protests, if people have enough time to escape Hong Kong, I think they will and they should.
This post received a score of 4,888, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
HK, you're going to turn this into another Tiananmen Square. China, Tiananmen what? Never heard of it, doesn't exist. Didn't happen.
China, ?
Chinese truck driver, quite bumpy today, wonder what's up with the road as there is no protesters because they're not there.
You didn't see protesters in the road because they're not there.
He's delusional. Take him to the infirmary.
Every fucking thread.
Broken arms.
Decoy snail. Chinese person, another what? New tank. Who dis?
Does she expect Trump to care? After all, in an interview, Trump said this. When the students poured into Tiananmen Square, the Chinese government almost blew it. Then they were vicious, they were horrible, but they put it down with strength. That shows you the power of strength. Our country is right now perceived as weak.
If they do start killing people, what do you expect Trump to do about it?
Get more trademarks for his daughter.
I just visited Macau and Hong Kong from North America. Unfortunately bought non-refundable tickets months ago. It's not a solely black and white issue there. I tip my hat to the brave protesters, but don't have much hope for their success.
At least China won't be dumb enough to try another massacre, I hope. Hong Kong is under their mercy anyways, they should recognize this is a PR war. Also they have more time than they did in 1989, because this time the problems are at least contained in Hong Kong so they have less pressure. They should think things through and realize another Tiananmen Square is the worst thing for them.
Maintain, increase presence of border city with paramilitary in a show of determination to domestic audience and prepare in case of protest spillover 4. Take no official action on HK financial sector and businesses 7. Take no official action against protesters and run everything under the guise of HK police 8. Wait with this playbook, just WTF else can the protesters do? Continue to protest. Hope for international assistance. That's as unlikely as China rolling in with tanks.
Greater than or maybe Redditors need to think things through and realize that the CCP, whose central leadership is composed of technocrats, is actually made up of informed and intelligent people who are smart enough to realize that another Tiananmen Square type of suppression is entirely unnecessary. Totally agree. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but it doesn't have to happen because China just needs to do nothing and they will win. There are a few times that the majority of Reddit gets blinded to reality by some ideology. Sometimes this is good, but this is one time where it's a self-delusion.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.